Okay, so let's start. So if we talk about monomer nutrition, we have said that we've got autotrophic nutrition, which means that they can do the photosynthesis, right? And then we said about heterotrophic nutrition, which means they can do the cell respiration. Yes or no? So the formula for the photosynthesis, as you know, is light plus CO2 to make the food, which is glucose. You will have time to copy later, okay? Just listen to me. Plus oxygen, so here is the food, as we said before. And then the cellular respiration is the other way around. Glucose plus oxygen to get the energy for the 3 vital functions and the residue CO2. And this is clear, okay? Yeah. But there is circumstances that there is no oxygen in the environment, right? There is no oxygen. So if the formula is like that, it's like there is nothing here, then energy. So sometimes in a very extreme situation, what's an extreme situation? Yeah, radical situation, there is no oxygen in the environment. So what can they do to get energy? Yeah? So they invented another system, alternative system, which is not so good like cellular respiration, but in a case of emergency, they can get some energy, right? So what they do is they take the glucose from the media, yeah, from the environment, because this is heterotrophic nutrition, right? They take the glucose and they are able to get energy, and the residue is alcohol. Right? This process is called fermentation. Yeah? Let's talk about the wine process. What do we have? We have the grapes full of what? Full of what?
Energy.
No, not energy. What do they have in the fruit? What do they have? Sugar. They've got sugar here, yeah? It is not exactly glucose, but it's sugar. It's fructose. Fructose, which is a kind of sugar, yeah? That's sugar. So, they take the grapes, they mash the grapes, they extract the liquid, so the sugar, yeah, and they put in a deposit. Yes or no? And they close down the deposit. Very, very close, hermetic. Yeah? So, in this case they use yeast, but the bacteria in the skin, in the grapes, the bacteria in the fruit says, okay, I need energy for living. I don't have any oxygen because the deposit is very, very close. What can I do for survival? What's survival? Yeah. So what do? Fermentation. The point here is they get the energy and the residue of the reaction. Remember, the residue here is the CO2. Yeah? Here, the residue is alcohol and is the wine. Yeah? So after a while, we open the deposit and we take the liquid and we drink it. Yeah? But this is the residue of this reaction. Okay, so if you use red grapes, you will have red wine. But if you use white grapes, you will produce white wine. You see? What happened? Think a little bit. What happened if during the process I open the deposit? Think a little bit. What happened if I open the deposit? Because the deposit is very close. No oxygen at all. Nothing. Okay. Yeah.
So when you open the barrel, so then the oxygen go into
Yeah.
the barrel, and then the grapes don't have to do the fermentation and do the cellular respiration, and they don't produce alcohol.
Yeah. So it's when we say the wine is bad. The wine se picó because we cannot drink it. Yeah? So if we open the deposit during the procedure, we don't produce good wine. Yeah? Yes.
And if when you have the beer,
The
you are
wine.
drinking the wine, you are drinking the residue of the bacteria.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yes. But it's clean, you know, because in all the procedure it's clean. Yeah. Don't get amazed. When you know what is the egg, you will be more, in shock. But at the moment the wine is fine because it's clean after the process. Alright? Is this okay?
Yes.
Now I'm telling you that we can do fermentation. Ta-da! We can do fermentation. Well, did you copy that?
Yes.
Okay. Now we are going to talk about another example of fermentation, but in this case, it is not a monomer organism, but we can do fermentation. Look, just think a little bit. When we are doing a sport, when we are doing running, for example, there is a point, when you start running, our heart starts beating, yeah? And we start breathing much more, no? Yes or no?
Yeah.
The frequency, increases, yeah? So each time more and more. Why is that? Why is that? Why our heart and our breathing is going faster and faster? New person, please. Why do you think it's that? That the heart is much more faster and the breathing as well? Why? Yeah? Because, what's energy? Can you give me an answer? Why? I'm asking why. You can talk in Spanish.
Porque estoy cansada.
No, really. I'm saying you're running, yeah? And your frequency is increasing. Why is increasing? Yeah.
En Spanish.
Yeah?
Porque cuando corres más, el corazón cada vez va más rápido porque tiene que hacer más esfuerzo.
Why? Yeah.
Porque tienen que coger la energía del cuerpo, supongo. Y el CO2. El O2, no.
Yeah?
Porque el corazón bombea más rápido porque le tiene que llegar sangre a los pulmones para que
No,
así
from the lungs to the...
Bueno,
Where is
el
this
corazón
going?
cuerpo,
Where is this going? Yeah? Tell me.
A las células.
To the cells, yeah? So, but if I'm doing a sport and much more effort, what is happening in the muscles? They need a lot of energy, so they need a lot of
oxygen,
and So the heart is pumping very fast to, to give them the glucose and the oxygen, right? To get more energy because, we need more energy, yes or no? Yes. So, there is a point where if you are still running, there is a point where our breathing is not enough and the oxygen doesn't reach on time to the muscle. Yeah?
Yeah.
And we can feel that. We can feel that. We are like, cannot breathe anymore. Yeah? And tired. And you're getting tired. So the oxygen is not going to the cell. It's going to the cell, but it doesn't reach to the cell.
We
Yeah.
need more oxygen.
So there is no oxygen. But the muscle still needs the energy. Right? Yes?
Yes.
So, in our muscles, we do this process, fermentation, because it's an emergency situation. Yeah? And the cells must survive. However, the residue is not wine. The residue in this case is lactic acid. Ácido láctico. Look, this acid is like a needle. What's a needle?
Una línea.
No. What's a needle? No? Yes, that's a needle. Needles, yeah, plural. This lactic acid is like needles in our muscles. So we can feel it. We can feel these crystals. Yeah. So we call them agujetas. You see? Needles. What's a needle? So the feeling is, yeah. So you can see that this procedure is just an emergency process to get few energy for survival again, yeah? Because as soon as you stop, yeah, and you recover your breathing, then nothing happens. We go again to cellular respiration. And then, if the next day, for example, you do a sport again, these needles, this lactic acid, is going to disappear because it's solved in the cells, right? So we have two different kinds of fermentation. With the first one, we get the wine. With the second one, which is made by ourselves, we get lactic acid in our muscles. Is this clear? Okay, very good. Will you please switch it off? Thank you. Hola a todos, chicos, chicas. Esta ha sido la clase de biología de hoy. Espero que te haya gustado y que lo hayas comprendido. En caso de tener alguna duda, escribe algún comentario en el propio vídeo y organizaremos un directo para resolver las dudas juntos. ¿De acuerdo? A estudiar biología. ¡Ánimo! ¡Suerte!